under which committee? Communication. Honorable, did you check the mandate of Committee on Communication? Did you check?
Mr. Speaker,
Oh, you're just assuming there is information.
No, I know what I'm talking about.
No, did you check our rules and see which committee has mandate over this?
It is information, sir.
Well, from what I'm just seeing now is communication, not information. So you want to amend? You want to amend? What happened?
Mr. Speaker, I can read our standing rules.
Okay, I've just been informed that it is information.
It's information,
as
sir.
you have rightly mentioned earlier.
Mr.
So any
Speaker,
seconder
please.
to these amendments? Honorable Oke?
Thank you, the People's Speaker and esteemed colleagues. My name is Barrister Jesse Okejo Onakalos. Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, I represent the Nigerians, especially the habit of Lagos social disorder. I rise this morning to second the amendment heavily moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Any seconder to the main motion? Seconder to the main motion? Honorable Oga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have to second the motion, but I have something to contribute on this motion.
No, we are past that.
Okay. My name is Right Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga Owen. I represent Ikwo and Ezasa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ebonyi State, where you have the most performing governor in this Nigeria. I rise this morning to second the motion, able moved by my colleagues. I hereby second.
Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Information for further legislative action. Leader, please can you move for the suspension of our rule to take just one more additional motion?
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihonvere, O1 Federal Constituency, Edo State, I rise to move that we suspend the relevant sections of our rules in order to take some additional motions of urgent national public importance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we do suspend relevant sections of our rules to take more than 3 motions this morning. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Engineer Bukar Talba, please can you rise and move your motion?
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Engineer Bukar Talba, member representing Marte Mongonoganze from Borno State. I rely on Provision Order 8, Rule 5 to bring a matter of urgent public importance on the need to empower the victim of insurgency in Marte local government of Borno State. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable David.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Ogeo David Agada, member representing Ojuobi Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State, the food basket of the nation and a proud Igbo son. I rise this morning to second this motion of matter of urgent public importance as moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Second leg of the motion, Honorable Shetima.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my brother. I so second, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Bokar, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House recall that the insurgency and kidnapping are major problem of people in Northeast has been facing a very long time. Also recall that Borno have had its own share of unpleasant activities of insurgency and kidnapping. Aware that Martelo Gome area in Borno State, located in western coast of Lake Chad, which is headquarters in Martelo local government, have been eye of storm due to the activities of insurgency and kidnappers in the local government. Also, the House aware that due to several attacks on Martelo local government area by the insurgency, many inhabitants in the local government relocated to neighboring communities such as Monguno, Meduguri, while some found themselves in Niger Republic. The House notes that NEMA in its 2012 report said that violence linked to Boko Haram insurgency in Martelo government caused about 70% of farmers abandon their farm and relocate to the IDP camps in neighboring communities. Observe that the insecurity situation improved in Borno State, coupled with the state government effort to close all IDP camps in Maiduguri and environment. Many of these displaced people from Marte local government area are now returning home. Consider that the need to empower and the internal displaced persons, farmers and women and youth who recently returned to Marte with agricultural input and kits such as fertilizer, water pump, pesticide and seedling, farming and technical skill of hairdressing, barbing and carpentering for the youth and women, provision of starter pack to support the training which be on 11 them to self-reliance. Resolve that the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation and National Emergency Agency, NEMA, to provide relief material to the victims of insurgency attack in Marte local government. 2, urge the Ministry of Labor and Employment to empower women and youth in Marte local government area of Borno State with vocational skill such as hairdressing, barbing, carpentering, and other trainings. 3, urge the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to provide agricultural input kits such as fertilizer, water pump, pesticide, seedling, farmers to farmers in Marte local government. 4, mandate the Committee of Emergency and Disaster Management, Labor and Productivity and Agricultural Service and interdisciplinary reviews to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Honorable Mohammed.
Thank you, my Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Mohammed Dang Abbashehu, member representing Zaki Federal Constituency. I am from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second this very important motion, heavily moved by my Honorable colleague from Borno. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. This motion is referred to the committees on emergency and disaster management, labor, employment and productivity, committee on agri-production and services, and committee on internally displaced persons, refugees, for further legislative action. Honorable members, the first business of the day is a motion on admittance into the chamber a delegation of the UK branch of Commonwealth Parliamentary Association for the purpose of observing the House proceedings, standing in the name of the House Leader. The House Leader is invited to move the motion.
Thank you very much, very able and competent Speaker. I rise to move that the House, pursuant to Order 6, Rule 4, 1, and 2 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, do admit into the chamber a delegation of the UK branch of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association for the purpose of observing the House proceedings. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion as very well moved by the House Leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the second business of the day is presentation of 18 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery Zaria Establishment Bill 2025, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal College of Complementary and Alternative Medicine Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal College of Complementary and Alternative Medicine, Ubogun, Ohunwode, Edo State Establishment Bill 2025, first reading. Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Nigerian Meteorological Agency Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal Universities of Agriculture Act Amendment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery Special, Ora Ibimina, Osun State, first reading. Nigeria Center for Animal Disease Control and Prevention Establishment Bill 2025, first reading. Federal University of Agriculture and Development Studies, Ishiagu, Establishment Bill 2025, first reading. Chartered Institute of Public Diplomacy and Management of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2025, first reading. Non-Governmental and Civil Society Organizations Agency Establishment Bill 2025, first reading.
The third business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Rules and Business on the further review of the standing orders of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Francis O. Waeve. Honorable Waeve is hereby invited to present the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Francis Ejiro Waeve is my name. I represent the entire people of Ugele North, Ugele South, and Udu Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Rules and Business on the further review of the standing orders of the House of Representatives. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Is Honorable Ambarura around? The Deputy Chairman? Any member of the opposition who may wish to second? Yes, Honorable Komati.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. My name is Kwamoti Bitrus Lauri, and I speak for the people of Jamsa Lamudi Numan Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Chairman of Rules and Business. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Oevi, please proceed and lay your report. Honorable colleagues, the fourth business of the day is presentation of two reports of the Committee on Pensions, standing in the name of Honorable Hussein Mohammed Jallo. Honorable Jallo is hereby invited to present the report.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir. My colleagues, I'm Hussein Mohammed Jallo, representing Igebe Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. The House debated on the motion on the plight of the retirees under the Contributive Pension Scheme, HR 66-02-2024, and the Administration of Nigerian Pension Fund Assets, HR 197-10-2022, and resolve to refer the matters to the Committee on Pensions. The Committee, upon receipt of the referral, swung into action by setting up a technical committee. Upon receipt of the report, the Committee on Pensions resolved to conduct investigative hearing and invited all stakeholders in the pension industry and conducted the hearing from Monday, 2nd September to Tuesday, 17 September 2024. The committee having carefully collected and critically analyzed the submissions made by the stakeholders, noted and observed as contained in the findings of the report and recommendations contained therein. We are convinced that if these recommendations are implemented, will provide great relief to Nigerian pensioners who have endured several years of untold hardship as a result of the undue delays and shortfalls in the payment of the retirement benefits. The committee is now set to start the process for the amendment of the Pension Reform Act 2014, which is due for amendment after 10 years of implementation. The House Committee on Pensions earnestly appreciate the Right Honorable Speaker Abbas Tarjun PhD, the leadership of the House, and the entire House for the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable Kafilat, you are looking stunning. Even though I know you are fasting, but we still want to hear your voice.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues here present. My name is Kafilat Ogbara. I represent Koshofe Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State, the Center of Excellence. I rise this morning to second the motion, ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable, please proceed and lay your report. Honorable colleagues, the first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Cap F17 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to, among other things, review the functions of the polytechnics and for related matters. Standing in the names of Honorable Abbas Tajuddin and Honorable Kayode Laguda. Forward. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 4th March 2025. And now invite Honorable Forward to move that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Forward.
Honorable Speaker, members, good morning. I hereby seek the permission of the Speaker and members that the bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnic Act laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to, among other things, review the function of polytechnics and other related matters be laid for the second reading, sir.
Any seconder, please? Honorable Clement. Oh, Mudashiru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Mudashiru Lukman Alani, representing the good people of Iwo Ayedire Olaoluwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I rise this morning to second the motion that the bill should be read for second time. I should second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Ford, please can you give us a highlight of areas that this bill contains and why you feel that an amendment is needed at this material time?
Generally, the principal act of this bill is to seek establishment of polytechnics in various parts of the country, to offer full-time courses in technology, applied sciences, and other related courses, is to drive the efficiency of polytechnic education in Nigeria. The Act was amended in 2019 to increase retirement age of polytechnic and harmonize the tenure of office of the rector and principal officer of polytechnic. Is to also include the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to enlarge the scope of Federal Polytechnic and clear the results-oriented administrative structure.
The second, to arrange the clauses, is to amend the Section 3 of the Principal Act to include representative of a Nigerian Board of Technical Education, NBTE, and MAN in the council of every polytechnic in Nigeria. The Clause 3 is to amend the Section 8, which is to seek to raise the bar in respect of qualification of those seeking to occupy the position of rectors in the Federal Polytechnic of Nigeria. The Clause 4 is to amend the Section 15 of Principal Act, which is seek to enlarge the powers of academic board to, among other awards, Bachelor of Technology, BTech honors. Honorable colleagues, respected colleagues, I hereby urge all to support and pass this bill, as the overall objective is to improve provision of technical education to Nigerian students through a better organized polytechnic Nigerian system. I hereby submit, Mr. Speaker.
So, honorable members, I think this is one of those initiatives from National Board for Technical Education on the issue of HND degree dichotomy, their own position, which is taken collectively as a board comprising the whole entire polytechnics in the country, is that we should move for the abolishment of HND, and in place of it to have Bachelor of Technology as a replacement, so that at least graduates of polytechnics will be able to compete hand in hand with other universities. And at the same time, they are proposing for a hybrid supervision, where the degree component of the polytechnic education will be handled by NUC, while the diploma, ND, National Diploma, will continue to be handled by NBTE. And because of the degree component of this amendment, they felt that the qualification for being a rector should also be upgraded to at least a PhD holder at the minimum, PhD holder. Since you will now be talking about degree programs, it is only proper for such kind of establishment to have a PhD holder as the head of the institution. So those are some of the highlights of this bill. With your kind permission, we'll just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this bill to go for second reading should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This bill is, okay, clerk, please go ahead.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act F-17 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to, among other things, review the functions of polytechnics and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Polytechnics and Higher Technical Education for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, before we proceed to the second order of the day, it's my pleasure to once again introduce our August visitors in February from the Commonwealth, from the UK Parliament, representing the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association UK branch, under the leadership of one of our own, Honorable Kate Ofuni Osamo, who is the leader of the delegation and coming from the House of Commons. We have also Honorable Rebecca Claire Cooper from the House of Commons, David Gordon Mondel, member of the House of Commons, Honorable Frederick Thomas, member House of Commons, Honorable Jonathan Oates, member House of Lords, Honorable Karen Ann Bradley, member House of Commons, and of course we have Jacob Telsha-Luz, who is the CPA UK Africa Regional Program Manager. We also have Magdalene L. Beledi, who is the CPA UK Project Officer. And then we have Ellen Zanzaki, who is the Dean, Postgraduate Law Programs, University of London. The last but not the least is Honorable Beth and Beatrice Thomas, who is the CPA UK Project Officer. You are most welcome. Please, can you stand up for recognition? Honorable colleagues, can we appreciate their presence here? They are most welcome. Please, you may sit down. Honorable colleagues, the second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for establishment and the functions of Legislative Security Directorate in the National Assembly, provide for qualification and condition of service of the Sergeant at Arms and other personnel of the Directorate and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Rotimi Akintude, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 26 September 2024. And now invite Honorable Akintude to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Akitunde Rotimi Jr. I represent the good people of Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, and it comprises Ikole and Oyo local governments. Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek the leave of the House that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment and the functions of Legislative Security Directorate in the National Assembly, to provide for the qualification and condition of service of the Sergeant at Arms and other personnel of the Directorate and for related matters be read for a second time.
Any seconder? Any seconder? Honorable Gwale, I thought you are in charge of internal security. And do you want to second this motion?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Garba Ibrahim Muhammad, representing Gwale Federal Constituency from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second that this bill be read the second time. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. I think this bill is a straightforward one, but I don't know whether Honorable Rotimi would want to give just 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, okay?
Right Honorable Speaker, with your leave, we can, with your wisdom, we can put it to vote, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So, honorable colleagues, without any waste of time, we go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Clerk?
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members.
Honorable Garba Koko, please. Honorable Koko, please.
A bill for an act to provide for establishment and functions of a Legislative Security Directorate in the National Assembly, provide for the qualification and condition of service of the Sergeant at Arms and for other personnel of the Directorate and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Internal Security of the National Assembly for further legislative action. The third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Financial and Investment Analysts of Nigeria to regulate and control the practice of financial and investment analysts in Nigeria and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Wigan Sesi Oluwaseun, Honorable Sesi is hereby, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 27th October 2023. And now invite Honorable Sesi to move that the bill be read second time.
Honorable Bill, order, please. Honorable Bill, order, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the leave of the House, I rise to lead the debate on the general principles for a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Financial and Investment Analyses of Nigeria. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this motion? The young has grown.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, once again I remain Honorable Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya, representing Nigerians, starting from Ilorin West, Asa Federal Constituency of Kwara State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Wingan, I think this is a very interesting area. We would want you to give us a synopsis of this particular bill for the attention of members.
Thank you, my Honorable Speaker. I rise today to lead the debate on the bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Financial and Investment Analysis of Nigeria 2023. This bill seeks to establish a professional institute that will regulate and promote the practice of financial and investment analysis in Nigeria. The institute will be responsible for setting standards, conducting examinations, and issuing certificates to professionals in the field. The establishment of this institute is timely and necessary. Nigeria's financial sector is growing rapidly, and there is a need for professionals who can provide expert analysis and advice to investors, businesses, and government agencies. The institute will also play a crucial role in promoting transparency, accountability, and good governance in financial sector. It will ensure the professionals...
Hold on, Honorable Wingan. There is a point of order from the minority leader, right? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Kingsley Chinda. Mr. Speaker, my point of order is hinged on the House rules, particularly Order 12, Rule 2, Sub-Rule 3, at pages 81, 82 to 83. I want my colleague to take cognizance of that and perhaps make necessary amendments. We are not in possession of the synopsis and compendium of these very, very interesting and important bills. The details will help us to know if actually we are going to incur some expenditure in course of running this bill, and then what commitments that the government will need to bear in the establishment of this institution. So if those responses, if the Sergeant at Arms, if they have it here, it will help us. Thank you, sir.
The Chair House, I thought you sent electronic copies to all members?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. This bill has since been gazetted in 2023, and copies placed on the platform, hard copies also on members' pigeonholes. So it's for members.
But did you send electronic copies for this particular debate coming up today?
Yes, we did, Mr. Speaker.
When?
Yesterday, we sent in the notice paper to say that it's coming up today.
But what of the bill? I thought you also sent the...
We publish the journals as at when published. When any journal comes out, we publish it immediately, hard and soft copy. What happens is that some members come for their second reading late, some come early. So he has come for this now. So this is why it's coming up now. We can't republish the journal that we had published previously. We can't publish it a second time. We publish journals once, Mr. Speaker.
So I think, Minority Leader, the provisions are basically satisfied in the sense that notice paper, the notice of all the motions for this week has already been circulated, and this particular bill has been gazetted a very, very long time ago. So with that, I feel that
Mr. Speaker,
the bill is good to go.
Mr. Speaker, I am not talking about the publication of the bill. Perhaps I will read the House rules to the Chairman Business and Rule to understand me better. I'm talking about the compendium and argument, which indeed our colleague has. And
have you circulated to members, Honorable Wingan?
This was dropped at the entrance this morning.
How many people have it, please? If you have his lead debate paper, would you please, can you raise your hand? Raise up your hands.
No.
Only one person. Well, you said you distributed, Honorable Wingan?
And 30 copies at the entrance.
So, but it appears as if nobody has picked. So, Leader, if
If they can
Do
circulate
you
to
have
us,
them there with you? Do you have them there? You said you have 30 copies. The Sergeant at Arms, can you confirm that you are in receipt of some copies for members to be given? None?
Mr. Speaker, I picked this copy from the entrance, sir. This one I'm reading.
But apparently, nobody is confirming that he's a receipt. And the Sergeant at Arms there are not also confirming that they have copies with them. So maybe they disappeared into oblivion, right? So what I will advise is that we'll step down this debate to tomorrow for you to provide adequately copies of the lead debate to all members. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This bill is stepped down by the leave of the House. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Solomon Bob from River State. Mr. Speaker, my point of order is premised on
Order, please. Order.
Order 8, Rule 9, Sub Rule 6. If I have permission, I would like to read. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead, please.
It says, unless the rules otherwise direct, notice shall be given of any motion which is proposed to be moved, with the exception of the following. And I'm going now to the one that touches on what I want to speak about. That is Order 8, Rule 9, Sub Rule 6. A motion arising out of the business of the day, made immediately after that business is disposed of, and before any fresh matter is entered upon. Now, the business we just disposed of now relates to the argument raised by the minority leader regarding the non-availability of a compendium for the bill that was proposed to be read here. The same argument applies to just about everything, all the two bills taken before that one. Unfortunately, due to maybe happenstance of oversight, attention wasn't drawn to it. So this motion now, Mr. Speaker, is to urge this House to rescind, to take a motion to rescind, whatever thing we have arrived at or agreed upon with respect.
You are ruled out of order.
Can I finish, Mr. Speaker?
You are ruled out of order. Sit down, please. Sit down.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's...
You are ruled out of order. You cannot come back after we hit the gavel to discuss about any rescission now. Please, you are ruled out of order. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to entrench a level playing field between holders of bachelor's degree and graduates of higher national diplomas by providing equal opportunities between the two categories of graduates and prohibit the discrimination against the higher national diploma qualification in the consideration for employment or promotion in public and private sector in Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Forward Kai De La Guda. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 22nd May 2024. I now invite Honorable Laguda to move that the bill be read a second time. I think, Honorable Laguda, there is a change of mind, right? Concerning the issue of this.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So what is your prayer now?
Sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, my prayer is that you permit that we harmonize the first bill of the day that we had with this fourth one, because the fourth one prohibiting the dichotomy between HND and BSc would fall under the functions and polytechnic of the first bill.
So you are technically requesting for a step down of this bill, right?
Yes, sir, and to harmonize it with the first one, for it
Okay.
to fall under the first one.
That's
sir.
okay. So this bill is stepped down by the leave of the House.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
You're welcome. The fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the
Order,
Federal
please.
Medical
Order,
Centers
members.
Act
Order, please. Order,
to
please.
establish Federal Medical Center Ikuano, Abia State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Obina Agwacha. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, July 17, 2024. I now invite Honorable Agwacha to move that the bill be read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Obi Agocha. Mr. Speaker, I represent the great people of Iguano, Umuahia North and Umuahia South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to present a bill for second reading, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish a Federal Medical Center Iguano, Abia State, and for other related matters. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder to this motion? Honorable Dominic? Oh. Can't see the face properly. Please, you can rise and second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Barrister Harrison Anoze Nwadike, native of Isu clan from Imo State, and I represent the good people of Isu, Njaba, Nkwere, Wangele Federal Constituency. I rise this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Obi Agocha. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This, honorable colleagues, is a straightforward bill. It's an establishment bill which does not require much debate. So with your kind permission, we go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Thank you. Clerk.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center Ikuano, Abia State, and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Health Institutions for further legislative action. The sixth order of the day is a motion on waste pollution and the management of its impacts on health and environment, standing in the name of Honorable Julius G. Pondi. Honorable Pondi is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues. My name is Julius Babozo Pondi. I represent the very good people from Brutu Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. In Zonkeme, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, I rise up this morning to move this motion on waste pollution and the management of its impacts on health and environment. The House notes the difficulties faced by citizens in controlling and managing waste disposal and utilizing production influence in the manufacturing industries, as well as the oil and gas sector. The House observes the recurring negative impact that the ineffective waste disposal practices have had on the health of citizens in communities and locations where oil and gas
activities are conducted. The House is also invited to observe that a major component of environmental pollution are hazardous waste discharges in manufacturing industries, unending gas flaring, crude oil, and refined oil spills, as often happen in the Niger Delta region, in addition to domestic waste disposal. The House also notes that in spite of numerous laws and regulations on waste management across the country, there are still numerous gaps and lapses in the control and management of industrial and domestic waste across Nigeria. The House is worried that the consequences...
Order, please. Order, please.
The House is worried that the consequences of continued neglect of our environment could result in, as it had often been the case, serious health challenges for our people, all in addition to degeneration of the nation's ecosystem, loss of agricultural productivity, and environmental degradation, especially in the coastal region of the country. The House is invited to observe, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Environment, the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency, NESRA, the National Oil Spill Detection, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission, NUPRC, and the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSRA, to reinforce the enforcement of all environmental-related laws and regulations and strengthen the effectiveness of the National Environmental Standard and Regulations Agency, NESRA, the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NESRA, and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC. 2, implore state and local governments to closely collaborate with the federal government to ensure that oil companies and manufacturing industries, as well as small and medium-scale businesses, adopt cleaner and safer waste disposal methods to contain the outbreaks of infections and spread of communicable diseases. And finally, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, mandate the Committee on Environment to conduct a wholesome survey on the extent of environmental pollutions across and around major industries and their level of compliances with laws and regulations on pollutions and report within 4 weeks for further related action. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Honorable Sarki.
Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I remain Honorable Abubakar Sarki Dairu. I represent Lafia Obi Federal Constituency. I'm from Nasarawa State. I rise to second the motion highly raised by my colleague Julius D. Ponde. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Environment for further legislative action. The seventh order of the day is a motion on the need to establish permanent military outposts in Shinkafi and Zurmi Federal Constituency of Zamfara State to curtail the menace of insurgency, standing in the name of Honorable Hassan Bello Shinkafi. Honorable Shinkafi is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name still remains Honorable Bello Hassan Shinkafi.
Leader.
I represent the entire people of Shinkafi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am an indigene of Zamfara State. Mr. Speaker, my motion before this House today is for the need to establish permanent military outposts in Shinkafi, Zurmi Federal Constituency of Zamfara State to curtail the menace of insurgency. The House notes that Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, states that the welfare and security of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of any government. Also note the persistent and escalating security challenges in Shinkafi and Zurmi local government areas of Zamfara State have led to increase in attacks, killings, maimings, kidnappings, forcing grievous threat to lives, properties, and development of the areas. Aware that the Governor, His Excellency of Zamfara State, has taken serious or pragmatic steps in safeguarding the state, including establishing security trust fund, community protection guards, intelligence sharing, and provision of logistics support to security agencies, regular security council meetings, and blocking logistics supply to bandits. Also aware that the military personnel has made remarkable efforts in curbing the devastating situation, disturbed that the pathetic situation has inflicted untold hardship on the people living in Shinkafi and Zurmi local government areas, preventing their access to farmland, markets, and schools for general population. Worried that over 40 villages were affected by bandits' invasion, leading to villagers fleeing and leaving the areas deserted. Informed that the military men were seen in Shinkafi Zurmi Federal Constituency for about 2 weeks, but later withdrew, causing bandits kingpin to resurface and launch attacks on the constituents. Cognizant that establishing a security base will address emerging security threats, providing secured environment for citizens and residents of Shinkafi Zurbi local government, and ensure the return of fled villagers. The House do resolve: 1, urge the federal government to direct the military to, as a matter of necessity and urgency, construct and station a befitting and well-equipped permanent military outpost in Magaria, Kuriya, Kware, Dutse, Mashema, Gurbimbore, Boko, and Dole, all in Shinkafi and Zurmi local government areas, respectively, to further enhance security of the areas and reinforce the military personnel to effectively checkmate and confront the nefarious activities of the bandits. 2, also urge the security law enforcement agencies and other relevant stakeholders to synergize with the Zamfara state government to further stem the unfortunate insecurity trend.
House Leader.
Further urge the
House
Ministry
Leader.
of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction to immediately provide relief materials to the affected victims across Shinkafi Zurmi Federal Constituency. Finally, mandate the Committees on Defense, Army, National Security and Intelligence, Humanitarian Services, and Legislative Compliance to ensure implementation and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, my name is Ete Okbolupum. I represent the good people of Eket, Una, Esreke, and Ibon Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That's it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Defense, Army, National Security and Intelligence, Humanitarian Services for further legislative action. The Leader of the House, please can you move that we step down all of the orders of the day to the next legislative day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that we do step down consideration of reports until the next legislative day. I so move.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the House, can you please move that the House do adjourn to tomorrow, 11 o'clock?
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Ihonvere, OON, on one federal constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the House do adjourn plenary to Wednesday, that is tomorrow, same time as usual and same venue. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do stand adjourned. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The names can remain until tomorrow. We meet you here.